So Watch the Skies is a phenomenal, thrilling sci-fi UFO film. I guess it's not really that thrilling because it is a sci-fi UFO movie, but there's really no aliens in it. There's no creatures in it at all. It's just exploring the unknown. But it was a phenomenal film. It is in Sweden. It is in Swedish. It's a Swedish film, but it is the very first movie to have what they are calling Vdubbing, which are visual dubs, visual dubbing. It's where you have your spoken language. So for these people, the film is in Swedish and it has subtitles. But in the United States, when they released it in English. Now instead of dubbing it over with someone else dubbing over the person that's speaking, they actually, I believe, they redid the movie in English so that they're English, they're speaking in English, and then they visually with using AI were able to make the lips and mouth move and make the words that they're saying. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's not as crazy as AI face swapping, and all that stuff, where having another person, an AI, generate their face or AI generate, someone random. But it's at least using the same actors and their same voice. So it's actually very, very fucking cool. But yeah, it's called Vdubbing. It's going to be definitely a new thing for foreign films to be released in theaters so people can watch them without watching subtitles. I mean, we saw this movie a month ago or so now, The Ugly Stepsister, which is actually a Dutch film, I believe, or like German maybe. I forget. But, they speak in their own language and then you read, you have the subtitles. And that's fine at home. I mean, I would never put down subs for dubs, but in the theater I can understand going and wanting to just watch the movie and not having to read subtitles. So I think Vdubbing is going to be very good for films, but if you like foreign films, you should watch it in the language that it's originally done in. It's just the respectful way to watch the movie. If you don't like subtitles, then maybe the movies aren't for you, or you just watch it in an English dub. But again, this Vdub just makes that at least a bit better. It does suck, I guess, because you are taking jobs away from the people that are dubbers out there that dub movies. But because it's also the same actor and it's them still portraying the same scenes just in two different languages, technically, even though one is AI generated, the mouthing and everything is AI generated. That's pretty cool. You got to admit that's pretty cool. And that's at least what it seems like. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are still afraid of AI and all that, so I understand. But this definitely seems like a fantastic concept to integrate into films in the future. But so Watch the Skies, like I said, it was a phenomenal movie. It follows this young girl, Denise, whose father is, he's the head of this UFO cult, right? They're this UFO organization. They're called UFO Sweden, which is just, a bunch of people that, collectively are trying to find the truth. And it turns out that he's friends with this scientist that works at this government facility. And he ends up being backstabbed by her father, and he steals a bunch of documents and all this stuff about UFOs and supposed lights, shining lights in the sky and all this stuff. And he's trying to find the truth. Long story short, her father ends up going missing. So, a couple years later, now she's this young teen, and she ends up getting back into contact with this UFO cult. I don't want to say cult, this organization, because I think she finds her father's journal and all this stuff. So she just wants to help and show that there probably is some truth out there, and she wants to not only find her father because she feels that he disappeared, but she wants to. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. This farmer is farming, and a car flies through his barn, out of nowhere. All these lights and everything shine through the barn, and this car flies through the barn, and it turns out it's her father's car. The same model of her father's car, had the same tape in the tape player, whatever, the cassette tape. So when she comes to check out the wreckage, when she hears about it, she finds out that this is her father's car. So she takes the information to the UFO organization, and she's like, we need to find the truth. We need to see what's going on, because my father has got to still be alive because we found his car, but not him. So there's this whole race against this company. They're called SMH or something, SMHI, and they're trying to find the data that they have about these anomalies and these random weather patterns. It's snowing during the summer, all this crazy stuff. and they find out that they have been keeping these secrets obviously locked away. It's like, any traditional alien movie, UFO movie, Area 51, all these documents that aren't allowed to be released obviously into the public. So they end up decoding and hacking into these documents, and, they end up finding out that, in fact, it's not necessarily aliens or UFOs, but a wormhole, a black hole maybe even, but a wormhole between our world dimension and another, and that's where her father found, and that's where her father went. And it is just very cool. It is, like I said, it's a fun watch from beginning to end. Like I said, I wish there were aliens in it. It's not quite Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Fire in the Skies, but it's still a very fun UFO movie. And I like aliens. I mean, from xenomorphs to the little green men, but it was a genuine fun film. And when I first saw the trailer, it looked awesome. I was like, oh my God, this movie's going to be great. And it was great. And as I was watching it, I couldn't help but realize, like, man, their lips just aren't quite working out. They don't sound like they're speaking, but they are. I'm pretty sure they are. And then sure enough, I find this behind the scenes featurette that talks about the whole Vdubbing process. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. Like, congratulations to this technology. Again, I hope it serves a good purpose for these foreign films coming into theaters, because that's all it really is. If you're watching it on streaming or watching it at home, just watch the subtitles so you can hear the language and just enjoy the film how it's supposed to be enjoyed. But yeah, the film was fantastic. There's this funny character. Her name is Tomi. She's Denise's like family friend, but she's a cop, and she is like one of the worst characters in the movie because she's like against her, but like for her, but always trying to save her. But then near the end, she's like, all right, like, I'm gonna arrest you now, and like, it's just like, damn girl, like, you don't even understand what Denise is doing and what she's going through, But yeah, it was a fantastic movie. It's definitely a movie I would suggest you should watch, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in between here and there. The characters are all great. The whole UFO organization is hilarious. All the characters are so cool. Leonard, who's the main guy, that's the new head, that was the scientist that was, backstabbed by Denise's father. He's in charge now, and he is just an awesome actor. I mean, I've never seen any of these actors in anything, but it was just such a great movie. Very heartfelt, like I said. Definitely a must watch. So definitely, if you have the time, it's probably going to be streaming sooner than later. Check out Watch the Skies. See it in the VDub version just to see how they did this. But also, like, I want to now. Gotta watch the Swedish version, because the Swedish version probably would just be so much better just to hear the Swedish dialect. But yeah, this has been Ghost in the Craig. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.